Hey friends, this is Bridgit Danner with Hormone Detox Shop, and I just wrote a blog called Is Moldy Food a Health Hazard? And the short answer is yes. So I want to tell you why foods that may be moldy and what to do about it. So, first of all, anytime a crop is growing and there's moisture and heat, it can grow mold while it's on the field, when it's harvested and being stored or processed in transportation, once it's stored in the grocery store, once it comes to your home, once you've cooked it and made leftovers. So, at any point along the way, most any food can become moldy. So there's about 400 different mold toxins that have been identified, but only about a dozen are harmful to humans and other mammals. That includes your dogs, and dog food can be definitely moldy. So while not every food tends to be one that has mold, it's good to be aware of this because we're all hopefully eating a wide variety of foods, and we might not be aware that certain ones are kind of the more common hazards. So in my opinion, you're not usually going to have a dramatic health effect just from moldy food alone, unless it's like you eat something that's just, super contaminated and you have an acute reaction. But that's kind of more rare nowadays. More likely you're going to get little doses, here and there. And it's really mostly a problem if you've already been exposed to mold, probably in a water damaged building, so you're sensitive to mold, you're sensitized, and now you're getting it in your diet. I think another situation that you're more susceptible is if you have compromised gut, maybe you already have candida, which is another type of fungus. So getting the mold into the digestive tract, I think, can be extra irritating. And that's a lot of people, actually. So, some foods to think about, watch out for, or any grains. You think about grains when they're grown, when they're stored, they can grow mold. Corn is one of the biggest ones, but it really can be any grain, whether it's like still, a whole grain or a bread or what have you. I know for me, I am pretty sensitive to corn. Corn is the only crop that when we export it from the US, we do test for mycotoxins. Grain fed meat or dairy products are another issue because these animals are eating grain that is probably not stored with as much care, as human food. So that's another source. Dog food that I mentioned, dog food quality can be really low and like sitting around a long time. Spices, so the most common ones are red chili, black pepper, dried ginger. Spice is best to be kept just for a few months and look for good quality ones. Actually, herbal supplements can have it, especially they said milk thistle. I had never known that before, but it is just another plant, right? Cocoa is I guess we call it a seed. I think you call it a seed, and that can grow mold as well as coffee and tea. So I would buy high quality with that, and not try not to store things for a super long time. Like buying in bulk and having something around a long time isn't a great idea. Generally, a good idea to store things in the fridge, including nuts. Nuts and seeds can be moldy. I never like you to buy kind of cheap kind of nut mixes, like snack mixes. I like you to always buy fresh nuts. Now, I like shopping in the bulk section, and I think if that section is moving, it can be clean. But I've also found some rancid nuts in the bulk section as well. Just the other day, I found some popcorn kernels that were moldy that I bought organic in the bulk section. Rice, soy, or oat milks can be moldy because, again, they're grains. I guess soy is a bean, but you know what I mean. Fruit juice, dried fruit, alcohol is a fermented food. It's generally really sensitive for people who have experienced mold and their brain is affected. Lunch meat um, and popcorn and leftovers. So there's probably a few I'm missing, but that's something to think about. When you buy food, inspect it for mold. Don't assume that it's clean and fresh. Again, when it's in your home, check it out. Again, don't buy things and store them for a really long time. You want to eat things, ideally really within the week or a few days even. Same with leftovers. I really wouldn't store leftovers and be eating them, 8 days later. Just keep for a few days, and if you're not eating them, toss it. Inspect things like jams, lunch meat, soft fruits. Mostly they need to be thrown away. Something hard like a cabbage, if it has a little moldy spot, you can cut off an inch and save the rest. Again, keep things in the fridge. Don't leave food out on the counter for more than 2 hours if you're serving food. Keep clean knives and dish rags. You can clean your fridge every 3 months with baking soda and water for mold. I think that's a great idea that most of us aren't doing. And in your home, think about having low humidity in your home. This is a little more global, but think about using a dehumidifier if you live in a humid environment. That's going to discourage mold growth. Um, and then if you do know or suspect you have a mold issue, it's usually affected several body systems. Probably start thinking about the gut for sure, rebalancing the gut with some of our products like Megaspore Biotic, our Mega Pre Fiber, our Mega Mucosa or Mega IgG can help with infections and IBS. Um, let's see. Intermittent fasting is a free way to support the gut. When you have periods of not eating, it lets the gut restore and rebuild itself. If you are curious if you have mold or other toxins exposure, we do offer testing for that. And then we always talk about, just detox in our business, using a sauna, using electrolytes, green drinks, binders, um, mitochondrial support like CoQ10, fish oil, and magnesium for inflammation, using a good multivitamin every day, using a good glutathione supplement. So we have lots of information about this throughout our site and in our shop. And yeah, if you're know or you're suspecting you're dealing with mold, I definitely encourage you to pursue it because it generally isn't going to clear on its own. You're gonna need to support your body to do that and be in your best health and prevent some pretty dangerous things that mold can contribute to, like cancers and heart disease. I think I neglected to mention some of the symptoms of mold toxicity, which can be headaches, fatigue, irritability, skin issues, respiratory issues, um, digestive issues, and even hormonal issues like low testosterone, irregular periods, that kind of a thing. So it can show in like loss of appetite or weight gain. So I hope that helps. We are happy to support you on your own detox journey. Thanks, everybody.